Hello everybody, this is Monstertaming coming at you with another Kindred beginner's guide. This time we're going to be talking about counters and how they affect the game in general. A counter is simply when one kinfolk or move that kinfolk has counters something another kinfolk does. The game operates on a bias of types of playstyle rather than a type effective, and to briefly describe that, that means that fire counters Gaia because that its playstyle counters its playstyle. It doesn't, like, my Ember is not going to do bonus damage to the Kadoki. It's just Ember is really good at getting rid of minions and doing AoE damage and controlling the map and stuff like that. Just like dark and light counter each other because that light is buff, dark is debuff, light sustain, stuff like that. And I'll show you a good example of why Skullkin can counter Lumala here. We're going to have to wait a little bit because the Lumala is not going to use what I need him to use immediately. Right. Nope. Almost. Come on. As you see, we're both doing basically the same amount of damage to each other. And then he does that. And then bam, I can drop that on top of it, which will stop the Lumala from being able to actually get their heal off. And it'll, shut down the heal because this will deal damage and poison them. Now, Skullkin's more of a counter to Lumala. The Lumala is a counter to Skullkin because of that. But you get the general idea. When playing, you want to understand and read your opponent. Your opponent's playstyle does come into play a lot, just like the kinfolk do. Another pretty common counter is I like to use Shovelet as a counter to Slifer. I'll show you why. See, Slifer is, well, this Slifer likes to buff, which isn't particularly good. But, if I do this, this really disables Slifer's whole shtick of, move fast. But this Slifer is actually playing a lot different than Inku's Slifer. He actually got me there. But yeah, you saw that I could stop him from moving fast, and that if he was playing using bounce and stuff like that, then that would have been a nice counter there. But instead, he actually countered my Shovelet, which honestly illustrates another good point. So I'm kind of glad he was using moves I wasn't expecting, because my Shovelet counters Slifer when he uses bounce and pilfer a lot, because that he'll bounce into the rock slide. You see the rocks in the air, they actually have hitboxes, and the Slifer will get hit into that if he bounces through it. And then you can just put a quicksand on you in the middle like this, and you'll counter him like that. Another good counter that I like to showcase is a Shovelet versus Mechid counter, where the Mechids often like to... Yep, there we go. I didn't get stunned there, thankfully. But yeah, the Mechid, usually a player's Mechid will probably use Rage at that point, and then you can just drop on them with stuff like that and see how fast they were killed, and they would have been killed even faster had they been using Rage and it was an actual player there. So that's the basic rundown of what counters are at their essence. They're about finding out what your opponent is trying to do, finding out how you can stop them from doing that. There's very broad counters you can do. Like I said, Ember vs Kadoki is a very broad counter, but depending on your opponent's playstyle and their move pool, that could all change. Kindred Fates is an extremely detailed and intricate game, even with just the 7 kinfolk we have now. So you always have to keep your eyes open and be able to think on your feet and consider each move before you make it with rapid succession. I hope this helped underline some of the more basic ideas around the counters. If you guys would like to see more in-depth counters, I do have some guides on every kinfolk except Slifer up, which will go much more in-depth about counters and why I think they counter them. If you have something in particular you have a question about, I'll be happy to answer it in the comments below. But until next time, this has been Monstertaming, signing off. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye. God bless. See you all next time. Bye-bye.